Hey everyone, Amanda Coulong with TechZulu.com. I am here at the Always On Hollywood conference, and I am with Chris Broadway Romero, who works with 50 Cent. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Glad to be here.
So you were definitely saying some great things in the panel on social media here a little while ago.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's easy. It's a good place to really talk about like what we deal with in the music business on a day-to-day basis, but we don't get to really explain it and really appreciate the impact of how things are changing so much.
Yeah. I mean, you and Fiddy have really worked on using social media to build his brand. I mean, it's an amazing story. Do you care to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just with 50, he's really, I feel like he's a one of one in a lot of ways. Like, he does not stop working. He'll outwork anybody in any given sphere that he's a part of. And in that, it's perfect for a world that's always on, that's always connected. And it's my decision making is what it is, but also his commitment to it has been a huge thing. So I look at it as a second phase of what he did the first time in his career, where he used the mixtape circuit, which is basically a byproduct of being able to record more inexpensively.
Right.
It's still at the core of it using technology to get your idea out there faster, harder, and wider than everybody else. So in that, this is kind of the second phase of it. There wasn't another 50 to come take advantage of the social revolution because he took it. We took it. You know, that's how I look at it with him. And he's been just one of the greatest guys to work with, definitely.
So on your side, I mean, you know, you wear multiple hats for the guy, and you know, in terms of social media architect, we've talked about a little bit. How do you? Oh, great. How do you evaluate the technologies that you're going to end up using? Like you're using Ning for the website. You were talking about some streaming stuff earlier. There's so much. Kite. How did you determine which things you were going to use?
Just by doing it, by using it, experimenting. Signing up for the accounts, testing them under different circumstances, trying to use them for what they're not necessarily suited for in case, because I like things to be very flexible. So that's really it. It's I think Nike was about 20 years early with the "Just Do It" slogan, because now you really can with social media. So it's just about. I used to say 2 years ago, I'd always say that there's a lot of players, 10,000 widget companies, but in a year, about a year's time, it took a little longer than I thought, but the real players are going to stay, and then the guys that were just playing around are going to leave. So at the end, the product gets better.
Right.
And then.
Now, would you say that there was some discussion during the panel about can someone be self-made? And you had some very specific thoughts on that.
Right. Well, I was talking about how because the gentleman kind of said that. Well, how do you make a star now? And I agree. There's a lot of noise there. So how do you separate the noise from the good stuff? And I firmly believe is if you have a destination where that good stuff is, and then you go there, and then if your material is good, you'll move ahead of the other people in that same genre. So I don't think it's impossible for a new artist to break or to make some big things happen. But you just have to don't just build a site and stand there. Go to the site that does the same type of music you do, and be better than the guy that's on top there. It's still competition at the end of the day. There's no real magic formula to it, but you can do it. Like I referenced Soulja Boy, who's a multi-platinum artist who he came out and he only did maybe 30,000 his first week, but he did like 50,000 his second and third week because his viral stuff started to take root, and radio kind of matters. It still matters because everyone down there, they're listening to the radio. They don't have an internet feed yet, but that's going to change too. And when it does, then radio will be a dinosaur too.
So good content, though, is definitely key.
It's all about the good stuff. I mean, I didn't make ThisIs50.com. It might have been harder, 50 is definitely a good catalyst. Like, it's all about, internally we call them catching a stunt. When you catch a stunt, it means everybody's seen Evel Knievel jump over the Grand Canyon. So when you catch a stunt online, it's when we do the live broadcast 2 years ago when no one's ever heard of it before. And probably only 18 or 20% of the people can really see it because they don't have the right internet connection. But we do it anyway because we can say we did it before Puffy started doing Twitter and live feeds that lead to nowhere and no advertising. So, it's all about creating your own destination at the end of the day. So if you're an entertainer.
And I guess the last thing too, a big thing that was discussed on the panel was this notion of authenticity, of transparency, and is the person behind that Twitter account really that person, and not just Twitter, but across the board. And I saw you smile a little bit up there, so I want to know what was going on in your head.
Well, I know you guys may or may not know the New York Times article that was pretty big. New York Times, I found out, is like the number 11 media brand period out there. So I said, you know, they got my name on the front page saying 50's ghost Twitterer comes out of the light, and it's like, I don't write anything original that he says. The guy is one of the most prolific writers in music history just by the awards he has. So it's more about, are we bending to what Twitter says it's supposed to be, or are we hip-hop and say we use technology for what is best used for what our purposes are? Like, turntables weren't meant to be scratched on. Records weren't meant to be sampled. Light posts weren't meant to be used to supply electricity for park jams back in the day. PA systems weren't used for rapping. So it's the same thing. I don't care what Twitter says we're supposed to do with it. If everyone else is on the bandwagon, I'm going to use Twitter, and I'm going to use 50's his ability to draw so many people in, and we're going to bring everybody back to our site using Twitter. Because to me, Twitter is kind of like a managed evolution of the RSS feed, in a sense. Like, it's everyone's personal feed of what they're doing. So, and
another channel to reach people.
Yeah, it's just another way for content to move through. I mean, Twitter's great. Don't get me wrong. I used to hate it until I started liking it. You know, like really getting involved, and all my friends got into it. And it's cool. But we're not gonna. Like, even Kite, for example, is mainly a live stream platform, but we use it for produced content because at that time there was already the trends. Like, nobody wants to see some jerk dancing around in front of a grainy webcam video. Those times are changing. Yeah. So we started doing produced content when everyone else was just yelling into their webcam, and they're still yelling into their webcam because they don't want to hire editors, you know. So.
So you're saying take, you know, these new channels that are still evolving themselves and find completely different ways of using them, if it makes sense.
If it makes sense, and if the audience accepts it, absolutely. Right. Yeah, I mean, I can say that you probably haven't seen 50 do one of these yet. Like, hey, I'm 50, I'm here doing this. Because
I'm sending a tweet.
When we do it, it'll have more impact now after all these other people have done it kind of with no goal in mind. Yeah. They haven't built their own brand or their own site or anything like that. They do it because they can, which is not always the reason to do something. So it's always about a goal. 50, like, that's one thing he taught us, like, have a goal, stay consistent. One of his key things he always says to people is consistency is the key to all success. So I try to add to it by saying consistent innovation is the key to domination. So
I like that. Say that one more time.
Consistent innovation is the key to domination. I
like that.
You just got to consistently look for what's new and, like, what can take this music or this idea and make it bigger and better. So that's what that's what all these great apps and all these great teams of people provide, the tools to do it.
Excellent. One more thing. What's your favorite app right now?
My favorite app. Let's see. There's this thing called Boxy that kind of takes, where you can kind of just take all kinds of streams everywhere and just dumb it down to the real TV experience and just sit there and watch, because
with a remote control, really watch whatever content you want, not have to have cable?
Yeah, I mean, because right now at my house I have one of my computers hooked up to a projector, but I still got to sit there and look it up on YouTube, and can't sit on my couch and do it. I mean, I can do it in a limited way on my Xbox or on Apple TV, but I think a more open type of application is cool for something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I know Hulu's mad at them, but, you know, what can you do? You can't constrain content and creativity. You got to let it loose. So,
excellent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm hoping to get like a comp unit or something, you know. Try it out, give them my feedback.
I think that could happen. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Letting the creativity go, I'm in favor of it.
Letting the creativity go. I like it. Well, anything else you want to add? Anything we haven't covered here? Where do we find out what the website is that I see is on your shirt?
I'm working right now. Hold on. I'm working. So, ThisIs50.com. ThisIs50.com. And everyone's trying to make their own This Is That or This Is not going to work. You know, do your own thing. ThisIs50.com. Go there, follow it on Twitter at ThisIs50. Follow 50 Cent on Twitter. And that's it. I'm there Broadway all day if you want to follow me. You know.
At Broadway.
Yeah, if you want to hear me rant, that's fine. So.
I think we'll tune in. Yeah. Thanks so much, Chris. Everyone, Chris Broadway Romero, ThisIs50.com, and I am Amanda Coulong with TechZulu.com.